and welcome back to the Sunday special episode of the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Fried. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? We love a Sunday special. What's the haps? What's going on?
I'm great. It's what day is it? It's
we
August.
are deep into the summer.
It's August 4th or 3rd.
Summer's running out.
Well, I don't like that. Stop with that.
I know. Okay, I'll stop. I'll make
Stop
sure.
that right
Stop
now.
that. Yeah, August is
The Sunday of the summer.
is the Sunday of the. You're right.
Yes.
School starting
Sunday
up again.
Once you see those commercials, it starts to really hit.
Oh, with like back to school sales, you're like, oh my God, I gotta go back into junior year.
And you're like, shut the
SATs.
fuck up. It's August 4th.
Yeah.
Stop
Chill,
it.
dude.
Yes.
Chill with your Halloween commercials.
Oh my God.
Soon you're gonna get Halloween. Soon the year's over. Soon I'm 40.
And then you're dead. It's over. Wow. Soon you are 40. Look at that.
Whoa. Not soon. It's
6
August.
months.
We got time.
6 months.
We are inching closer to death every day.
Almost your half birthday. When's
It
your
is-
half birthday? August.
It's February. Is that August?
August what?
21st.
21st. I should know this. We're
39 and a half.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost your birthday.
It is.
Big birthday. We passed Mike's birthday that I planned out.
Yeah.
So thoughtfully.
You're the best wife. for
I'm a
Mike.
great wife.
Yes.
Like right now, it's Wednesday. Should I just go on a date?
Go on a date.
I got a drink. Well, I have shows. You open up these apps and you're like, the first week is good because you're like, okay, I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is be on this app.
People
then-
will swarm to me.
Right. Well,
Yes.
then the second week comes and you're like, well, what about that person I talked to? Should I go out with them? We had an okay conversation. Does it mean more than that?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, kind of in this like, it is that paralysis of choice thing.
That's why
is a thing.
I think you download it 1 week every 3 months, once a quarter, one week a
Right.
quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Go out with the people from that. Delete it.
I had someone respond to me on this app. Literally, I haven't been on in a year. And they wrote to me, their opening line, I like matched with them. They did look familiar. But they wrote, they just wrote, he's back. That was their opening thing to me.
That's kind of funny.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, and then I wrote back, they didn't send out an email.
That's funny also.
Funny.
Yeah.
Should I just go out with, I should just go out with this
them.
person. Like
Yeah.
right now. Like
Yeah. Right, leave. We'll
leave,
finish this
let's
episode
go.
later.
All right. Should I just I see that and
That
I
would
go,
be so
funny
rom-comming
opening.
if you just ran out of here.
You're right.
Go
to the airport.
Go get the girl, Jared. Do
Should I just write her? Hey,
you want to go out tonight? Let's see what she says.
want to go out tonight? That's okay. Let's see.
Yeah. We'll check back and
Check back next
in
week.
between before we start.
We'll do this every Sunday. We'll check back in with the date that I said. How was the coffee date? How was the?
We'll find out. Maybe
We'll
one day
find
it'll be
out.
like. It
Maybe
was
one
great.
day I'll say nothing, and then you'll know.
And then we'll know it's her.
You'll
She's
be
the
looking
one.
at the same moon as me.
Hi, J&J and crew. Feather, longtime listener, first-time caller. I'm a 36-year-old female who's been on the apps on and off for over 10 years. Something that
A decade.
making everyone feel great about themselves this episode. Something I've encountered numerous times and which triggers me every time it happens is when a guy says anything followed by the phrase, if you play your cards right. Even with the emojis that indicate they're joking, it gives me the ick. I find it offensive and conditional, and it feels like they're really saying, if I deem you to be worthy of my time, in my mind, I think you're definitely not playing your cards right now. LOL. If I have any other doubts,
This email is hilarious.
I feel like you could relate a little bit.
I do relate.
Yeah,
No, listen, I'm going to hug this emailer too. You say don't give credit to the women.
Yeah, give her a hug.
Love this emailer.
You
know, maybe you didn't play your cards right.
She's screaming into the void.
Right.
If
I just imagine her on the app. If you
Ugh.
play your cards right, you might get a martini out of
Throws
me.
it against the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you play your cards right, you might never see me again. She swipes left.
If I have any other doubts about the person, it's a deal breaker. Otherwise, I'll flag it, set it aside, and give us a chance to get to know one another better before drawing conclusions. Am I overreacting? Is this stemming from an unaddressed insecurity or complex that I should work through in therapy? Would love to hear your opinions. A red suits only batch.
She needs to delete the app. She needs.
I
a
was
break.
about to say, I think she needs a little.
Take a month.
She needs to take a beat.
Because even the way she wrote, otherwise I'll flag it. set it aside. Like even the organization method she's treating the apps like she's been living in it for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know,
this is
I set it aside to the other queue where I put the maybes, and then I go for the, I think she's lost the adventure and the fun of the apps a little bit.
Totally. I mean, this is sort of a classic sign of burnout when you're getting irrationally angry by something kind of small.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a sign that you're like, this isn't fun for you anymore.
Right.
It doesn't feel relaxed and you're burnt out from it. So take a little break.
She needs a break, but I will also hug her and say she's not being picky.
I mean,
I think this is like a douchey thing to write. Like I'm with her. If you play your
it
cards
could
right,
be fun and flirty.
it depends on what it's about. Like if it was a jokey, if you play your cards right, you might get to see me have
Right.
diarrhea after eating some cheese. That's fun. You know, like if you play your cards right, you might get a drink with me is annoying.
Right.
It's just like, and it's also like it's not original. That's the other thing. It's written. It's material. If you play your cards right, it's an idiom, right? Is that the right word? Idiom.
Is it? Maybe.
Like
yeah.
when you're using those idioms, if you on a dating app, you are now impersonating someone else. You're not using your own languaging. If I heard it in person, I would be less icked out from it because it was like it would come in the flow of a conversation. And if it didn't come in the flow of a conversation, I'd be like, that was just bizarre.
I mean, I would assume that if you play your cards right thing is always a joke. It's like always flirty, I would imagine.
It's meant as flirty, but I don't know if it's always a joke. Like,
I guess. Yeah, it really would depend on I wish she had sent the text.
right.
So
I
I
would
could
love to see
see.
the example.
We talked about this in the benefits episode that comes out tomorrow where you sent me a text and you were kind of triggered by it.
Right.
And I interpreted it differently.
Right.
So, but I also think that you should delete the apps.
Right.
So
It's fair. I do like that she said, like, I put those people aside and give them another chance. So I don't think she's being
she bookmarks it,
Right.
puts a post-it on it,
put it in my library of maybes.
files it.
Right. I think the minute you start organizing your apps like
Right.
you would your desk,
Take a little
time to take a
little
break. I don't think she's being picky. I think it's an ick.
I can't say that she is being picky or not being picky. I have to see the rest of it.
Right.
Because I do think that like sometimes there are people who just get set off by stuff that it is a little bit more about them than about the person.
Well, I don't know. The one thing I will see eye to eye, if you play your cards right, specifically, if it's not about something that you shouldn't have to play your cards right to get,
Okay.
then it's icky.
Fair.
If it's about something that like
It's like ironic or funny or
right,
not,
it's got to be
right?
ironic.
Yeah.
It could be used in a way that's different in actual personality. If it's used in a way to be like, if you play your cards right, you might get a dinner date. Like
Right.
I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
That's
You're
a little
loser.
turn off. Yeah.
So that's the only way. So it's dependent. I agree.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
all right, let's do an email.
Let's do it.
You ready?
Let's do it. It's first time I'm hearing this one. Let's do it.
Okay, J&J. I'm a relatively new listener to the podcast. I came across it only after seeing the Netflix special and sharing that with many of my friends. Thank you.
Marketing.
I love it. It's all working. That's what I really feel like it's the world.
Ecosystem.
That's right. That was my dream. I always thought I'll put the stuff out online and then they'll see the JCU, the J Train Cinematic Universe.
Here we are.
And they get brought to this world and they go, oh my God, there's a whole 6 years of You Up podcast, and now they see Betches, and this
It's like
is
when
my
you
dream.
discover a new TV show that has, or an old TV show that has 10 seasons.
Right. Like
That's
I
amazing.
would die to be like someone going, what? Seinfeld?
Right.
You know?
What's
it's all
Lost?
there waiting.
What's
What's
Breaking Bad?
Lost?
Yeah.
I haven't watched. I tried with Breaking Bad. Couldn't do it.
Well,
You know, it's like a book.
a lot of people would be offended by that.
I
I think
know.
it's fine. I'm more into The Sopranos. Anyway,
That one's a hard one to get into too. It's a lot of episodes.
Sopranos, worth it.
Worth it.
Worth it. Oh my God. Best show ever made, I think,
Okay.
personally.
These are the shows that I never got. I watched every sitcom.
I think you should watch The Sopranos. We could do a lot of dating stuff in there.
Really? Okay. I came
Yeah.
across it only after seeing the Netflix special. Okay. I'm a big fan, and I've spent a lot of my commutes over the past month listening to old episodes and trying to catch up. Your perspective and honesty are both funny and helpful. I'm grateful to have been introduced to this content. Well, thank you. I have an issue that I've come across in my dating life, which I haven't been able to figure out. I've called it the hero treatment breakup, since I have not been able to find a common term for it. It's a breakup wherein often the breaker-upper gives really excessive compliments at the time of the breakup. This isn't merely the generic, you're great, but I'm not feeling this, or it's not you, it's me. It's much more over the top. Below are some of the statements I've heard. Usually several are delivered in the span of the breakup. Here are the examples. You ready?
Ready. I'm smiling throughout this whole thing because I've gotten this so many times.
This is a very, it's funny that they've given it a name, which I like, hero treatment breakup.
I like it. I like the name.
It is, it's a real thing. This is something that
You've definitely done it.
I've definitely done it. I don't think that
I've done it too. I've done it as a woman breaker-upper. I've done it too. I've gotten it.
Right.
Let's hear some examples.
Here are the examples. You make me happier than any man has before. You're the kind of man I've always been looking for. You saved my life. I never would have made it through. Insert event here. You're great in bed. I think he put this in there to just. I think that's one where he's like.
Is this a man?
This is a man writing it.
Okay.
Because you make me happier than any man has before. These are the ones he's gotten.
Oh, they're giving them to him. Okay,
right.
yeah.
You make me happier than any man has before. You're the kind of man I've always been looking for. You saved my life. I never would have made it through. Insert event here. You're great in bed. Your penis is too big.
So hot.
You fucked me for so long that I came 17 times. I'll never find that again. Okay. I feel so safe with you. That's the real one. I'm in my early 30s now, but I've run into this for about the last decade or so. About 10 to 20% of my dating experiences end like this. I've also heard these after rejections or breakups for any length of dating, from a few dates to a relationship of a few years. I'm not Prince Charming or Superman. I do have good qualities, but I have just as many faults, quirks, and maddening hypocrisies as any other human being. I am an anomaly for what JT has described in a breakup because I do not ask why. The fact that the desire or connection isn't there is reason enough for me to move on.
I don't think you're an anomaly. I don't think everyone.
I think that's also somewhat male to just be like, all right, I'm out.
Right.
Goodbye. Well, I've had
men ask me
why and for reasons. I think sometimes
I don't think it's an anomaly, but
if I was broken up with the goodbye, ta-ta, gotta go. Gabagoo.
What if you were really, really in? No, but that's not true because, like, let's say someone didn't buy your first special. Didn't you want to know why?
Yeah, I would want to know why.
You're not
So,
I don't need to know.
I'd like to know.
If you care about something, you want to know why. Maybe that's
I've never cared about
the
anyone.
question then.
The fact that the desire or connection isn't there is reason enough for me to move on. Sometimes I think that maybe they are trying to soften the breakup. Unfortunately, the result is not only a mixed message, but also it leaves me significantly more anxious in the future relationships. I now have a harder time accepting statements like this made at the beginning or most romantic points in a relationship when they are repeatedly delivered at the most painful rupture point. It's a good point. Yeah, I never thought of it.
You don't believe it in a positive way or a negative way.
Right. At that point, it's just language.
Mm-hmm.
I am very curious, particularly for Jordana's point of view. What is the psychology behind this? I have asked one ex and why she was leaving after saying these things, and she explained that it would hurt so much more if I later rejected or dumped her. So she was abandoning the relationship early. Is this common? I don't think that.
I don't know if
overall,
that's true.
why not stick to a more muted or impersonal departure instead of such over-the-top compliments? Why leave if these statements are true? If they're false, why give them? I realize there's a lot of questions. I appreciate any time you can devote to this matter. Thank you for producing such great content. This is a great question.
Good
great
question.
Email. Relatable.
I don't think that he's gendering it. I think to an extent, and I think I've gotten this more times than I've given it. No, and you've said it before. No one is nicer to you than the person breaking up with you.
Oh my God!
No one is going to be nicer to
You're
you than
queen.
that person. Yes.
I'm a loser. I don't deserve.
Those are the
you.
best compliments I've ever gotten. Or
Right.
the same fashion.
You
when
deserve
I've
the best. You are.
I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot.
You're the
I don't know
best.
why I'm doing this. I don't know. I just want you to be the best.
I wanted it so badly.
And I just couldn't get there. And I don't know what to do. But I mean, you are like a queen on earth, a goddess in the sky.
Anyone would be so lucky to be with you.
Whoever you marry is getting the
Thank
greatest
you so much
person
for
alive.
everything.
If everyone on earth is so lucky to have you and have you in their life, I just don't want you in mine.
At all. So I'm never going to see you again.
I think you're so amazing that I should never see you again.
I feel the person who does get to be with you is going to be so lucky.
There's nobody luckier
There's
than the
a,
person that isn't me.
There's a great scene. I'll play it. I'm gonna play it from He's Just Not That Into You.
I used to think that I had never been dumped.
Yeah, then we started comparing notes, and then we realized, wait a second, we both been dumped by every man we've ever been with.
Everyone.
Yeah.
They do it so skillfully.
Mhm.
They just so sneaky.
Yeah.
That you think it was your idea.
Yeah. You know, you're sitting back and you're like, yeah, that's my idea, but wait a second, why am I alone?
Why am I unhappy? Why have I gained 20 pounds?
Mhm.
They Jedi mind trick you.
Yes, they do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they do a soft pass.
Yeah, they got little lines they like to tell you.
Yeah, like, oh, I don't want to stand in your way.
Or you're perfect, it's just, I have to work on myself.
Right. I'm just thinking of your happiness.
Oh, I don't deserve you. That's my favorite
Oh,
one.
really? You know what I like?
Mm.
I am so jealous of the guy who gets to marry you. Well, that could have been you.
Yeah.
That's what I was leaning towards.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. The second you hear that, you just run to the store, get yourself some ribs and some ice cream because you have been dumped.
There we go.
A tale as old as time.
That's what I'm saying. I think that this is not a unique problem
no,
to him.
No, no, but he's put it in some great words.
Yes.
You know, he put it so well.
And why do people do that? Because they don't want to be the villain.
Right.
They want to be. No one wants to like people. When people are breaking up with you, they don't hate you. They just don't want to be with you anymore.
Well, it sucks that you've said this. Like, and you know, it sucks. It's so funny that like when someone gets broken up with, they either think they're getting engaged or broken up with.
But that could happen.
Right.
That one person in the relationship could think they're about to be proposed to, and the other person breaks up with them.
Right.
Like how you could be on two different
And
pages.
this is the plight of a nice person.
Right.
This is the plight of like a sane, nice person. Like their email is written
Yeah.
from the perspective of sane, nice person
Mhm.
who there's nothing wrong with. And I think when you're not extreme, like when you're not like this dance on the table type, you know, people either go with that person or you know the reason it ended.
What do you mean?
I think when someone's like an extreme personality, if you're just like someone who's like just a fun, nice, average person,
Right.
and you're out there dating and you're dating fun, nice, average people, who are they to like turn you down?
Right. That's why you get messages like this.
Right. That's why they got to prop you up because they don't want you thinking, well, you know, they don't think they're better than you.
Right. And also it's about them also. No
It's
one
all about
wants to
them.
be hated.
Right.
No one, and that the nicer they are to you, the less they have to deal with you is the other part of it.
And yeah, right. And they also believe what they're saying. Like the idea,
most of the time.
I think
Yeah.
most of the time when they say whoever the next person that gets you is going to be great, and a lot of
You
it
think
is.
they believe that?
I think that they
Well, then
know.
why don't
that-
they want to be that person? If they truly believe that like in that video that
Well-
that person is lucky, why don't they want to be that person?
I think because they know where they are in their life is not at the ability to be the like person, be like there for a relationship. Relationships take work. They take someone else as your responsibility. If you didn't, you know, to me, it's like, what's the biggest risk you'd ever taken? The one I never took.
Right.
You know, not taking the risk.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of where it lives in the land of that to me, where it's like, I think you're going to be great, but there's this other risk I haven't taken
Right.
that I will regret because time will need to be put into this. Like,
Yeah.
I think the saddest person in the world is like the person who's in their life thinking of like, oh, what could have been,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think
That's
that's
our hope. He's just sitting there wondering
right.
what could have been.
If it's marry this person who I'm okay with,
Mm-hmm.
keep going that I'm okay with, or maybe find the greatest love of them all. Will I be in this okay relationship 10 years from now going, I never really gave it its full shot?
Right.
And maybe I'm going to kick myself for this, but I'm willing to risk that.
I think that's more male.
Okay.
When they break.
Yeah, the one that got away is a
Yeah.
very male thing.
I think that's more male. I think for women when they're doing this,
Mm.
I think it's that, and I don't think men feel this as much. Is there's like this guy? He is great. I think he's like an amazing catch. They don't have the chemical thing. I really wish I had the chemical thing because like he checks all the boxes, and he is like, I do believe they believe it. You are really great, and you are there for me during that time, and like I really did appreciate that. And I really, if I had just like really been into you, like a lot of the times, like sexually, I think that's a part of it. If I had been like sexually attracted to you, this would have been amazing. And it's not even that you're unattractive; it's just that there's no chemical, physical thing for me. And if I just felt that, I would be so happy. But I don't feel that.
Isn't that more insulting to him?
I don't think so.
What is what is there anything he can do?
I mean,
don't
I think
there's
that's a
anything
lot of the time. I don't think there's anything to do with that, but you can find someone who does feel that.
And I can understand why a woman would say all these nice things. So this is from the female side of things. Why you'd be like, "You're a king. You're amazing. Someone's gonna love you," instead of saying, "I just can't fuck you."
Yeah, why would you say that?
Right,
I mean,
but
it's kind
I'm
of like
saying-
with a man. Like, I just don't like you enough to marry you.
Right.
That's the same thing.
It's the same
That's-
thing.
Yeah.
Different side of the coin.
Right. And I think those are equally hurtful, and no one says them.
Right.
And I think that's when men get broken up with in this language.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when I've done it that way. That's kind of what I've meant. If I'm being honest.
Right. And that sucks to hear, but it's, I like that you called it chemical because I don't want this
That's what I'm
emailer
saying. It's not like
walking
attraction.
away. Right.
Yeah.
You have that chemical with someone. They're out there. This is going to be easy when it's easy, and you're going to wonder why all those other ones didn't work out, and you're never going to get an answer to that.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's not like a thing that you could. And I think women will try more than men will.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there's like if you're not like dying to have sex with someone, men aren't going on the second date.
Well, in speaking of getting turned down, I opened up the app while we took a minute. You ready?
Yeah. What'd she
So
say?
I wrote, want to go out tonight? She wrote, not really.
She said, no, that's it?
That's it.
Not really.
Not really.
Wow.
What do you do now? Do you just unmatch?
How does that feel in your body?
I'm a little let down. It could have been fun. This would have been a fun
Okay.
adventure. There's a piece of me that's like,
I'm surprised she either like didn't answer, which would have been an option, or didn't give an explanation. She's talking to you
Right.
on the app.
I would have unmatched.
Right. So I'm surprised why she that's kind of like
It's- it
ruder.
kind of-
That's more rude than not saying anything or saying, here's
This is
what
a good episode of this podcast. This is happening
Yes,
in real time.
If I'm interpreting her thing, I think she's a lot of women do not like to be asked out night of. They
I
find it insulting.
This is something I know.
They find it insulting. I, at a certain point in dating, I think would feel the same way. Like it feels almost like a little more crude. Feels like the person's trying to just hook up. And I know I didn't say this to you before you asked her. Sometimes, but there
understand
can be a
that.
scenario where it's just like fun, like let's just meet up for a drink. But there are other scenarios. I think a lot of guys on the apps that do this are like just trying to fuck that night.
Well, I guess my only defense, if I'm to like come back at that, is it started with her saying that we're familiar. She
Right.
wrote, "He's back."
right.
So I'm kind of matching that energy. There's no debating her because she's right. If she feels that way, she's right.
Right.
You know,
Maybe
if
she
you
thinks
feel-
you're not putting an effort into a
Right.
real date with
But
her.
it's like he's back.
That's passive aggressive though.
right. Not really is like try again to me.
Right. What if she had said, I think I can understand I get to understand why she wouldn't want to do the date tonight. Fine. I think she should have said, if she were going to be a good match for you, potentially, she could say, hey, like I'm down to go out. I really like more than 24 hours notice before I go out with someone. I it's a whole thing. I've got to
Right.
do my hair.
She could also. I mean, it is 3:23, so
Fine.
I can understand. Again,
I'm gonna need.
I'm not going to dispute her feelings
fine,
on
I'm
like
gonna
whether
need a
that
little.
annoyed her.
I think it'd be totally fair for her to say, I'm gonna need a little more notice than that. Or would you think that was annoying too?
No. If she had said, not tonight, but maybe another night next week. How's your day been? Okay, now you're asking me to have a conversation.
Right.
Not really is just.
It's a little passive aggressive.
Well, she does have the one thing I'd like you to know about you is what's your favorite pasta shape. So I'm gonna write back. I love a ziti. Can we go out now?
Okay. So now you're fucking with her.
I'd still go if she laughed at that and was like, "Sounds good, haha."
Right.
To me, everyone's redeemable until you're not. So like, I don't think that's like mean to write back. I like a CD. Is that good?
I mean, here's the thing. Neither of you can just unmatch at any point if you're over this.
She wrote, not really. I'm going to write, okay. Let's try again. Is that funny?
It's okay.
That hurt more than the not really. You don't think that's funny?
I could see
I'm
being
going
her.
back.
I could see being her and thinking it was like kind of funny, but kind of annoying.
What's the annoying part?
That you're not like giving me a real date.
What? What's a real date?
Plan
We're getting
a date
drinks
with
tonight.
more than 24 hours notice.
Well, we haven't even talked. This is the whole. Here's the thing. It's not like we talked for a week and then I was like, let's go out tonight. I think that's more insulting. If
you've laid the groundwork for
we've
longer.
had all these conversations. To me, this is happening quick. We matched today. He's back. I wrote, you didn't get the email. Want to go out tonight? Not really. Like, to me, this is the only way it happens and is fun.
I don't think she's gonna go
I mean, then why not unmatch me?
because she wants you to try harder.
This is actually trying her. I just went and read her profile. Okay, Belle's pushing me.
Okay,
we
let's
did
see.
it. Not really. Okay, let's try again. I like a ZD.
Maybe this will
Want
be
to go out now?
Maybe this will be your our story page.
I mean, we have it all on tape.
Yes, and on screenshots.
On screenshots.
Anyway, that was my thought on this guy.
No, I'm sorry to like get us off this topic.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't want to be. I don't want to make him feel bad.
Do you have
but
any
in the
other
same
thoughts?
way-
He wants your perspective. I think you've given it and given it well.
It's harsh. I don't want to be. I don't mean
It's
to be
hard,
harsh.
right? I don't know if he's sitting in the dark listening to this, by candlelight and crying.
I mean, is that more? That's what I'm saying. But you tell women, guys don't want to be with them all the time.
Listen,
so, like,
I don't.
but
I
feel
want
like
to have sex with you. I don't want to marry you. Is as harsh as I just didn't have that chemical thing.
Yeah.
And
I think
I'm
for,
saying all these nice things because I do. I think he should take solace in the fact that like being a good guy is not a bad thing. And
No,
I
it's a
and I
great thing.
think and I
and
think
for the right person's going to appreciate it.
right and at the right time. And
Yes.
when they say timing is everything, I think sometimes this is part of that.
Yeah.
Like chemicals, it's timing. He's in his 30s. He's listening to this podcast. He's commuting to somewhere, so I'm assuming he has a job. He's doing well.
There's also like a funny thing when I think about the movie Trainwreck, and Amy Schumer is talking about she's dating what's his name? Who's the guy? What's his name? Bill Hader, and he's like a nice guy, and she's like a train wreck as the movie
Right.
goes, whatever. And then she's like talking to her sister. She's like, oh, I don't know, like. Sex is good, but it's not the best sex I've ever had. And she's like, you never marry the guy who's the best sex you've ever had.
Right.
And for women, that's kind of a lesson you learn that you get older too, where it's like the guy you're the most attracted to is probably this hyper toxic, crazy thing.
Right.
So
Well, that's my whole point with the standing on the table thing.
Mhm.
Like he's not that guy. He's not the wild card.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't
Which is-
produce a false chemical reaction. That chemical that you talk about
Yeah.
can be falsified.
Oh, totally.
If you are wild stallion, let's go out and get drunk and go from bar to bar and I don't give a fuck about movies and I'm going to not text you back and whatever
Yeah.
and
Sounds hot.
right now now that guy
For a
is
certain time of your life.
confused for chemical.
Right.
So I think his problem is he's got no chemical to be confused with.
Right.
And
It's funny though. It's like, do you remember Wet Hot American Summer?
Yeah.
When I think it was like there's the Paul Rudd character who's kind of the douchebag,
Right.
And then there's the nice guy and the
What's
the
his
girl
name?
and-
Michael Showalter.
yeah, and then she's like she's like I'm like 18. I want to be with a guy who treats me like shit.
Right.
Like
And then Michael Showalter, his character says, there's a great line where he's talking about her and he's like, well, she's not Jewish. Like he's talking about, they're like 18 and he's
Right.
talking about a future. And this other guy, Paul Rudd, doesn't even pick up his milk from the floor when it falls.
yeah, and that's like a classic, I think obviously exaggerated version
Right.
of what we're talking about here. And like maybe he's dating the girl. Like I guess in the timing way, if you're talking about men, the timing is not right for women. And sometimes when you're ready to be in a relationship with like you have to let go of being attracted to that toxic chemical thing.
Listen, someday a woman will have given up enough to date you. No, no. I think you have that chemical for someone. It's just the timing matters for this person. I'm
no,
with
I
you.
agree. I mean, it's funny. Like you talk about the dad from Modern Family. I remember I once went on a date and he was like, I think I was like 25, and the guy was like, every woman wants to marry like Phil from Modern Family. And I was like, that guy seems like a huge fucking loser.
Right.
Why would I want to marry
The whole premise of that
guy?
show is that
Right.
she was with guys before him.
Right,
Like,
he's like
that's kind of
he's like a great dad, and
Right.
like a loving husband, and like kind of cheesy dad joke stuff.
But also the joke is that she like ended up with him. Like
Right.
it's not even.
And he
like,
was like the guy I
he
was
was
on
a
the date with was
cheerleader.
claiming that every girl wants to like marry that guy. And at 25, I was like, that's like a nightmare.
Right.
And now at this age, I'm like, yeah, that is like I think that is who
Right.
you want to wind up with if you're normal and healthy.
Well, I think every woman wants the guy who is being cagey to become the Phil.
Right.
I
They
can
want to
turn him into
That's
the
why
Phil.
so many.
Right.
I mean, that's why you get a lot of crazy women coming after you too. I
Right.
think when you clearly vocalized your commitment issues, I think a lot of women are like, well, I'm gonna be the one who gets the wild ride and gets him to be
Right.
tamed. I get to tame the horse.
The stallion.
I mean, yeah, that's a thing. Like, I think a lot of women have that thing, and it's pretty unhealthy. You should probably see someone about that.
That's the real takeaway for this guy.
Yeah.
When whoever you end up with is gonna be pretty fucking healthy.
Yeah.
Like
And that'll be great for you.
right? And so I think you should look forward to. You're a calm, even keeled guy. You're gonna find someone where that turns them on, and that's great.
You're gonna find your
And-
own Claire.
You're gonna find a Claire.
We did it. We'll be back next week. Bye.
Boom.
The U Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candice Maniga. Editing by Belle Roman. Social media by Candice Maniga. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.